An ancient Greek storyteller named Aesop once said, "No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted." But what does that mean? I think it means that we can all do something, even if it is just a little something, to help others. But, with all the needs that exist in our world, how do we decide where our efforts will go? Let me begin by giving you a few statistics about something that is very near and dear to me. Right now, there are over 2 million people in the world searching for wheelchair-accessible vehicles. This is a huge need because without these vehicles, many people are stuck at home, unable to participate in the things that many of us take for granted. The demand for these vehicles is expected to increase by 8% each year due to the aging of our current population. But of course, the problem is, you guessed it, money. These vehicles cost a great deal of money and are not affordable for the very people who need them most. This is an important issue to me because I am one of those people. I am a wheelchair user that needs a van and cannot afford one. This, along with the fact that I have done extensive research on this topic, makes me a credible speaker on the issue of fundraising for a wheelchair-accessible vehicle. Today I will discuss how the lack of a wheelchair-accessible van affects me personally. I will also outline a possible solution to the problem and inform you of how you can be a part of the solution. An audience analysis I conducted revealed that approximately 70% of the students in our class are only somewhat familiar with the transportation needs of wheelchair users. In order to give you a better understanding of these needs, especially as they relate to me, I want to let you know of the many things I cannot do because my family does not own a wheelchair-accessible van. Right now, the only person in my life that has a wheelchair-accessible van is my former teacher, Liz. She takes me to a lot of places in her van, but she can only do so much. Plus, her van is getting old and cannot withstand all the driving that is needed for me. So unfortunately, I miss out on quite a bit in life. For example, while the classes I am taking at my university meet 2 days a week, I only attend school once a week. Therefore, I miss 50% of the lectures and often have a hard time understanding what is going on. The same is true with my workouts. I am supposed to work out at the Challenge Center twice a week, but I only have transportation for 1 day a week. Working out is very good for me and I would do this much more if my family owned a van. And speaking of my family, there are so many events that I miss doing with my family, such as going to church, family outings, weddings, and meeting up with friends. I also miss some of my medical appointments because right now, the only way I can get to these appointments is if my former teacher drives me. If I don't come up with a solution soon, I will continue to miss out on family events and school, and my family and employees will not have the means to support my medical needs. As we have gotten to know each other this semester, I can tell that you all really care about me and want the best for me. And luckily for you, I have a possible way for you to help me. Here is my plan. I am raising money through a non-profit organization called Help Hope Live. This organization helps individuals and families raise funds for medical expenses. Once enough money is raised to purchase a van, the organization will pay the vendor of the van that we will be purchasing. But there are some things I need to do now for my campaign to be successful. First, I need to increase exposure to my campaign page. According to another audience analysis I conducted, all of you believe that social media is a good way to raise funds for someone who needs a wheelchair-accessible van. So, I believe this is a good idea. Next, I need to complete necessary steps to boost my online campaign for December 2nd. This is National Giving Day, and this is typically a very successful way for people to raise money. For example, in 2024, an estimated $3.6 billion were raised in donations in the United States. And finally, I have a lot of work to do for my big fundraising event. This event will be on February 22nd at 4 o'clock at the Elks Lodge in El Cajon. We are planning to have a reggae band playing while people are having drinks and dinner and winning raffle prizes. Then we will have a rock and roll band so that people can dance and celebrate our success. We have so much to do to prepare for this, such as selling tickets, getting donations for the raffle, and planning for the food. I believe that by focusing on these three things, increasing exposure to my online campaign, participating in National Giving Day, and putting on a successful fundraising event, I will eventually connect with more people that have the means to help me. With the support of Help Hope Live, I know this can happen. At this point, you might be thinking that you don't really have enough money to contribute that would make a difference. But I will tell you that not only does every little bit help, but also there are other ways you can help me. You might also wonder, will this really make a difference in my life? And my response to you is yes, it definitely will help. Let me paint a picture for you of how my life would change if my family owned a vehicle. Since my family and everyone who works with me would be able to drive me to places, I could participate in so much. I could attend my college classes 2 days a week and maybe even attend some of the fun things that happen on campus, such as movie nights and casino nights. I could do so much more with my family. My brother could drive me to church with my family, and I could also attend weddings and picnics with them. I could also go to concerts and other events in the Arabic community. This is something I have always wanted to do. And my worker Michael could drive me to the Challenge Center twice a week to work out. We could also go out with my friends Lena and Kevin. We like going to places like the Wild Animal Park, SeaWorld, and the zoo. But now we can only go if Fliss is free to drive us. And I could finally begin working on my internships for school. I really want to work at a school someday, and I think I could make this happen if I was able to get to work sits and get some work experience. And finally, whenever I have medical appointments, which is about once a week, either my brother or my employees could take me. Acquiring a van for my family would be a dream come true. But enough dreaming. Now it is time to take action. And here is how you can help. First, you could consider making a donation to my campaign page. Even if it is a small donation, every little bit helps. Next, you could share my campaign page on all your social media platforms, especially around December 2nd, which is National Giving Day. Let others know that it would be worthwhile for them to make a donation on this day, because during that 24 hours, Help Hope Live will cover the credit card fee, making your tax-deductible donation to my fund go even further. And finally, you could put me in touch with people you know that can help me by either making a large donation, donating an item to be raffled at my big event in February, or providing me with suggestions on how to raise money. Acquiring a van is so important to me. I want to participate in all that life has to offer, and I want my family to have the means to support me as much as possible. There is so much that life has to offer, and I want to make the most of it. Thank you very much for listening to me.